Alrighty, guys, how are we doing? If you're watching the replay, let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. If you're watching live as well, let me know in the comment replay if you're watching the replay. Send this link out. It's crypto goes to the bear market. Let's talk about a few things. Welcome, everybody. If you are watching live, comment what city, state, country you're tuning in from. Starting here in 1 minute. Hit that like button so more people on YouTube know we are live. We are starting here in 1 minute. Netherlands in the building, OKC in the building, Belgium is here. What's up, Netherlands, Slovenia, hello world. Starting here in 30 seconds. Good morning, good afternoon. Let's talk about markets. Alrighty, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the stream. My name is Mike Sotero. Yes, we got the Dodgers championship. Brand new hat is on. And let's dive into it. We're not here to talk about sports or baseball. We're here to talk about, has the bear market started? Because everybody's so concerned about Bitcoin dropping when, if you've been plugged in, we have talked about these levels and this happening for quite some time, right? Anything that has expansion can have, you know, a rally to the downside. So I'm glad you're here. Feel free to send out this link to whoever you want. But current prices here today, you know, Bitcoin's at 95, Ethereum's at 3,200. I mean, this is okay. So the question is, are we in a bear market? Well, I would say, are we in a bear market? No. We've probably been in a somewhat of a bull run for certain assets over the past couple of years. But today, there is extreme fear in stocks, which is insane because we're near all-time highs. And we are in extreme fear in crypto. And it is not too far off the all-time highs. But we're going to break down a couple things here today. So right now, Bitcoin is down about 24% from the top. Okay, this drop right here was about 31%. I remember this drop right here. I mean, people were screaming, it's over at 33%. And I'm going to go over a key level on Bitcoin in just a moment. But I want to just give you some perspective to start today's call. Okay, 2 years ago, where were you? Give me some twos in the chat if you were in crypto 2 years ago. Give me some twos in the chat. Okay. One Bitcoin 2 years ago this week was that one Bitcoin was at 37,000. Ethereum was at 2,000. XRP was at 66 cents. Solana was at $50. Right? If you know, you know. Chainlink was at $16. And what we have seen over the past 2 years is there has been such bad there's been a couple things. One, the expectation that you can just throw money in crypto and it has to go up, right? The moment you approach this market saying, well, it has to go up or it's gonna do it, and you have this insane expectation, especially on a 2-year window or a 1-year window, you're in trouble, right? So like, let's come back to earth. Your expectation can be, hey, I think this money's going to grow, of course. But your expectation can't be in a short-term viewpoint, okay? For BTC, I mean, it would not shock me if Bitcoin slowed down somewhere in here. Would not shock me at all if Bitcoin came down into the low 90s, and if it wants to create max pain or max fear, it really comes into this candle right here. I think that would be max pain because it would continue to bring everything down with it. So one is expectation, okay? Now, number two, I want to make this point early on in today's video. And if you're watching this, please hit the like button so more people know we are live, okay? There are these people that I really don't like. They are the I will buy when it dips type people. You know anybody like this? Anybody know somebody like this? Maybe this is you. Well, when on the next dip, I'm for sure going to buy. Do they ever buy? No, because what do they say? What do they say? Lower. 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 They always think lower, so they never get in the game. And then if the market right now reversed, and I'm not telling you to buy Bitcoin at all right now. Okay, I buy Bitcoin on 30% plus drops. So if this thing drops really in the 80s, I will start to DCA into Bitcoin again. I haven't been buying Bitcoin since this push down in earlier this year. Okay, March, April. On my Instagram, we called the bottoms on almost everything on my Instagram, and the reels are there. Okay, and all my students know that. We called the bottoms literally here. Now, did we call the top of the entire market? No, because I don't think the top is in. Right now on social media, you have all these people, they have gone silent. They are not talking about buying the dip because they're screaming lower, 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 which makes me believe. And if you kind of see when I go on Instagram Live, I'm kind of strategic about it, that we are closer to the bottom than the top. Now, there's been some things that have happened over the past couple of days that are really positive, but not in the short term. Okay, the U.S. government was shut down for what, like 40-something days. Cost the country over $600 billion. The government's back open, which is a positive thing. The last government shutdown happened, and this is a very different time, but Trump was president. Okay? And the last government shutdown happened here. Okay? It caused actually a correction down. It wasn't as significant. Actually, it dropped about 28%. And then government opened back up in January of 2019, and then boom. Down. Market rebalanced. And then went vertical to the upside. And Bitcoin literally went from 3,500 and did a 3x in price. That's possible. Okay, I know you might not understand or not believe that, but Bitcoin slowing down somewhere in here is very possible. And this next run taking us, maybe even farther than we've ever expected. Maybe it goes into the 200s. I don't know. Okay. But I know right now expectations are really bad for crypto people, crypto markets in general, and just investing. This is really, really bad because this just means they're never going to get in. How many of you guys bought the dip today? How many of you guys bought something today? Now, the truth is alts are not even that. Bitcoin's down about 4 or 5% today. Everything else is really not even down that bad. I mean, some things are up, and some things actually just had massive pushes up, right? Something like Filecoin had that huge run up. Of course, you're going to see some exiting after a consolidation from 10 months of sideways. First pump, people are getting out. That's fine. First pump, people are exiting, getting scared, thinking that it's, going to retrace, and this is it. Well, yeah, market's retracing. This just builds more confidence down here around 150 to $2. But let me ask you a question. I'm just going to type on any of these charts. Is what game are you playing? Now, if you're playing the game where you're just trying to get in, double, get out, okay, that's fine. But are you investing long term or short term? If you're a trader, right? Are you here to trade, long term or short term? I had a long term vision day one because my first 4 years, I was not a profitable trader and I was losing money. I mean, I would grow an account like I would quadruple an account and then I would blow the account. You ever done that before? You make all, you do so well and then one trade takes it all out. Well, that's what's going to happen with a lot of people in crypto. They put all their eggs in one basket. And all my students know I'm not going fully into this, but the portfolio allocation that most people have in crypto is flipped upside down, which means if this is a pyramid, right, they have, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, Ripple, small amount, and the big amount of money is in meme coins. It's in jokes. It's in bad projects. It's in low cap coins. And that's the dangerous part that builds bad expectation, right? I did a class yesterday and I was talking about, if your portfolio is really made up of the top 10. Now, some people, they're only Bitcoin maximalists. I'm not going to tell you to buy Bitcoin at 95,000, for you to like make money. But if it's going to be a store of value and you're going to hold it for 10, 20 years, then yeah, every day is a great day to buy Bitcoin because eventually it's going to go to $1 million. And for you not to think that, I mean, it's going to go to zero or it's going to go to 1 million. I'm betting it's going to 1 million. Do I know when? No. Do I care? Not really. Because I treat Bitcoin separately. I have my Bitcoin on Ledger, a ledger that I haven't even opened it in probably 5, 6 years, the ledger. I just know the Bitcoin address, the Bitcoin gets sent there. See you later, alligator. Now, everything else, your goal is to use everything else to make what? To make more Bitcoin. And you do that by altcoins. You do that by investing, taking profit, going into stablecoin, and then eventually, if the opportunity allows you, to get more Bitcoin down the road. Now, the mistake that most people have made is their allocation is like this. So you have three types of coins, and I wasn't going to go into this, but is anybody getting value from this right now? Let me know in the chat, or we can just wrap up the stream. So you have main cap, mid cap, low cap, right? Main caps have over $1 billion. Mid caps have between 100 million and 1 billion. And low caps have 100 million. That's an M. It's bad. And less, right? Less than 100. That's a less than sign. Less than $100 million. Right now, all of these people wrecked. Absolutely annihilated in the markets. Absolutely destroyed. Mid cap, you have a chance. Depends which ones. But right now, all of my focus is on buying big main cap projects. Okay. Everything in the top 100 is a main cap project. You should not have everything, though, in the top 100. If you have over 100 coins in your portfolio, you are going to get destroyed in this next run unless you fix it. Well, Mike, should I sell all my low caps at the lows? No, I'm not telling you to do that. But you don't need to have 100 things in your portfolio. What do you believe in? What are the projects that solve problems? Do you have a little bit of different categories? Is Amazon here? Do you have a little bit of different categories in your portfolio? Okay. Now, something that we've been talking about, really good news, but not good news in the short term, is this XRP ETFs. Ladies and gentlemen, XRP spot ETFs are here. The first one went live yesterday, the Canary one. It was the best performing ETF in volume this year, which surpassed the Solana one. Can we get some ones in the chat for XRP ETF finally live after God knows how long? And the inflows were over $245 million day one. Now, here's what's interesting. During every ETF announcement, there was always a correction down. So, I mean, we've only had two. Bitcoin and ETH. Solana's pretty recent, but Bitcoin and ETH, right before they launched their ETFs, the market sold off. Now, here's what's interesting. Canary is a very small company, very small. I mean, they got some customers and stuff, but what they did yesterday, pretty impressive. Now, you're saying, well, why is that not affecting price? There is so much positivity, in my opinion, going on in like fundamentally that's aligning crypto. Everything needs to drop. I don't want to say it, but we deserve this. Everything needs to drop. And I would not be shocked in XRP's case, before these ETFs go absolutely insane. Okay, there's going to be another one next week. 21 shares is coming. Franklin Templeton, Bitwise, CoinShares, Grayscale, Wisdom Tree. What's the big company that's missing here? Starts with the B. They're going to have one. Eventually they'll have one. BlackRock hasn't even filed. I don't even think they filed for one yet. And I think they will have one. Interesting, huh? All of these are coming into effect over the next couple of weeks. So, would it shock me if XRP traded back in somewhere down here? It would not shock me at all. If this thing really wants to create some fear and then come back later for this liquidity right here. If you don't have any XRP in your portfolio, I'm not going to tell you to buy it here at 230. But if you start to see this thing come down here under these wicks, and specifically this past one, October 10th, yeah, that might be a decent level. Yes, the answer is BlackRock. Great job. Okay. So you have all this positivity, all these things. Now, something that people are not paying attention to is the CFTC, okay, is going to be in charge, U.S. Commodity Futures Trading, of really the entire they're going to be like the regulator, right, of the entire market, okay, of the crypto market. Now, Trump has nominated Mike Selig, who is a pro XRP guy, a pro crypto guy, to run the the CFTC. Losing my voice. We already have Paul Atkins, who is pro crypto, who is literally did interviews this week saying like blockchain's the future, crypto's here to stay. All of these coins are not securities. We're gonna be in a great place here really soon. But the CFTC, okay, this is what people are not paying attention to, when crypto market structure bill news, when this gets signed, this is not yet signed. This makes crypto a real freaking market. And I don't want to say this because I've been in crypto for a long time, but this game is just so it's just there's so much BS. There's so many issues from platforms offering 500x leverage. That's not good. We don't want that. All these over leveraged people on trading is why days like October 10th happened and everything, panic sold and they liquidated everybody. You had cryptos on platforms like Binance that literally went to zero on October 10th. Like, does that make any sense? But what did they do? Or what are they doing? They're flushing the longs. Okay, if you go to, let's go to coinglass.com and go to liquidation. Like today, there's been $1 billion liquidated. I mean, I remember when $1 billion would get liquidated in leverage, and I mean, that was the end of the world back then. Now it's like normal. On October 10th, there was $19 billion liquidated from leveraged positions. And you can see here on majority of these platforms, on Bybit, Hyperliquid, Binance, people are longing the market. And if majority is long, guess what? Market can go down. Okay, is this making sense so far? If there's some questions, I'll answer them. So here's my thought process. This is getting signed. When this market structure bill gets signed, it gives authority really to the CFTC. And Mike is going to be doing this whole confirmation. He has to go, sit in front of what is it, the Senate, and get interviewed and all that stuff. Same thing that we saw RFK do, and we saw uh, Paul Atkins do, and Cash Patel. That's just kind of how the process and how the government works, right? But this is big, okay? Crypto market structure bill. Let's see if it pulls up some of the things real quick. Okay. So this is, Clarity Act. Da, 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 da. Let's see. So this gives the CFTC oversight. Here, this is what I want to see. Okay. It established market rules, customer protection. This also does help stablecoin. I'm going to do a video on all this when it does get passed, or maybe before it gets passed, but this is a big thing for crypto. Okay, so what usually happens? What usually happens when positive big things in crypto are about to take place? What does the market do, everybody? Does the market go up or down? The market goes down. Okay, that's just how it is. They manipulate the market down and they allow themselves and their buddies, right, to get better entries, and then the market goes crazy to the upside, right? Think of it like this. If I'm BlackRock, do I want to buy XRP at 228 or do I want to buy this under $2? Just start to think like them. Now, am I buying this dip? Yes. Because from after April, May, after like May, I did not buy any crypto because we were at lows. On my Instagram, go to my Instagram and you'll see it. I literally put a video saying ETH is crashing. Probably a great time to buy some, right? Like after this thing started to push up and started to shift, what does that mean? Created a low, created a higher low, we ran. Like, I'm not touching Ethereum unless it came back down. I'm not touching it unless it comes back down there. And it could. Because guess what? After there's a break of structure, what typically happens, ladies and gentlemen? It starts with a P. All my students should know this because I always am. I'm always in your ear about it. Break of structure, pullback. Market pulls back, slows down, and then we're going to see where we continue. Now, I would love to see Ethereum back in the 2000s. Okay, I'm a buyer again in those levels. I'll leave that with you. Okay. So, anyways, if there's some questions in the chat, I'll answer them. Other than that, just wanted to go live. So overall, I do not think we are in a bear market. I think we are in a much needed corrective market after this chaos that we're dealing with. Also, the job reports, U.S. unemployment. The data, we're not going to get U.S. unemployment data. Okay? I mean, this is U.S. college grad. I mean, I don't care about that. Like, we're not getting unemployment data. And the Fed, okay, last couple things here, the Fed has to make a decision in less than 30 days. Do we pause or do we cut rates? Guess what? Right now, this has swung back to the market starting to price in a pause, which is good news. Oh, what do you mean? Why do we have to cut rates so fast? We cut rates really fast if we're like in a serious dilemma, aka the pandemic was a good example, right? Unemployment was about to skyrocket. And I do think unemployment is going 5-6%. I've been saying that for over 2 years. Unemployment becomes a major issue in America, whether it's because of AI or whatever. Unemployment goes higher here soon. It doesn't mean the Fed is not going to cut rates. I foresee more cuts. And remember this, in the month of May of next year, okay? If you've been following me, we've been talking about this getting swept for about a month, 2 months, 3 months. This liquidity right here needs to get taken out, and it is right now. Watch price. Watch price. These are some key levels. I mean, I'm very aggressive in crypto at this level here. We come into this level here, I'm extremely aggressive. I'm extremely aggressive if we come back that low. Just keep that in mind. And that's Bitcoin. Remember, that's Bitcoin. What happens in the month of May? Does anybody know? In the month of May, Jerome Powell is gone, and Trump appoints a new Fed chair who's probably going to do whatever he says. Okay? So looking at this, I think we do get a pause. I think we get a couple rate cuts next year. But the market is going to price things in early, especially when these numbers start to teeter-totter. And if we don't know the unemployment, I mean, the Fed is not, it's all manipulated. All the numbers, inflation reports, it's all just a giant game. It's an illusion to make you start to think. This wouldn't be the end of the world. And this wouldn't be the end of the world. Cheaper money, long-term, probably a good sign for the market. The money printer's on. This would probably extend the bull run. This would probably make it go higher, but sooner, if that makes sense. So I'll make a video on it. We'll talk about it. What do we think? Yeah, I mean, all those projects that are named in the chat, yeah, they're solid projects. But what are you going to do right now? And I think that's where a lot of people are going to watch this video, this replay. Mike, do we keep buying? That's up to you. That's up to you. But if your portfolio is screwed up and you have messed up allocation, if your allocation is in all these random coins, this is your time. You should be clapping your hands and be thankful that the market's dropping. I don't know. I know some people that don't even have Ethereum or Ripple or Bitcoin or Sol in their portfolio. And the top 5 coins they own are they're not random, but they're just Polkadot, Mantle and Tau. And it's okay. That's good projects, but you're putting all your, it's like putting all your investments in a smaller stock or a medium-sized stock, How are you in the stock market, but you don't own anything, not even an ETF? So I don't know. Does this make your TP targets higher now? Not really. Not really. But what it does, good question. It's going to give me better averages on certain coins that I've been wanting to DCA into, or just lower my DCA. Now, I'm not telling anybody to buy anything today on Friday. And if you've been watching the past 6 months, Fridays have been very bad for the market. Okay? Fridays have been very bad. But we're going to see where this thing slows down. I'm not saying today is the day to go all in, but if we start to slow down here, that's going to be interesting. But remember, the bounce happens when everybody becomes overly bearish online. When everybody's overly bearish, usually the market starts to bottom. So do I know if the bottom's in here? No, impossible to tell, possible to predict. From the emotions that I'm seeing in the markets right now, you see it here, there's fear in stocks and crypto. There's uncertainty with the government, not giving freaking unemployment data. That's insane because the excuse is the government was shut down. So it feels like a bear market. And the emotions are magnified right now because everybody's seeing these positive crypto things and they're like, why is it not going up? And they're getting frustrated. Maybe this is you. You're getting frustrated and you're like, I'm just going to sell it all because I don't want to deal with this. That's the emotions that we want to see for closer to being in the bottom. ICP had a big put. Yeah, ICP went up 300%. Of course, people are going to take profit. If you bought it at $2 and you didn't take profit, that's on you. Anything that goes up 300%, expect a 50% drop. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. So if Bitcoin right here, for example, if Bitcoin can do this, 72% up, why can't it go down 50% or 30%? If it went up 70, why can't it come down 35? What are you saying on Link? I love Chainlink. It's one of my top projects. I treat Chainlink like a very, very big blue chip. It's right now, it's under 10 billion in market cap. I think this is, if you said, hey, do you think Chainlink would be over 100 billion market cap in the next 10 years? I'm gonna have to say yes. Chainlink takes data that's outside, puts it on the blockchain, verifies it. GRT, right? GRT takes data that's on chain, confirms it, takes it outside. A little bit of a tip there. What are my thoughts on gold? I mean, I don't trade gold. Maybe I should. I'll look at it for you, and then I'm going to wrap up here. I mean, the exponential growth that gold has had is obviously insane, right? Maybe it comes back in here and slows down and continues, right? People put money in gold in times of uncertainty. As long as this level holds here, gold should just keep going up. So it's kind of like Bitcoin where it's approaching a little bit of structure to the left. If gold holds that, I see it continuing. This is not a trade. It's just more of a macro look. Um, and I have seen people, a lot of people flip bearish on gold. Also, silver is not a bad, silver just flipped almost the all-time, actually it hit all-time high. Silver might slow down here as well and then do the same thing. So, alrighty, guys. Anyways, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Last thing here, there is so much free content on my YouTube. If you guys haven't been able to tell, we are dropping a lot of videos on my YouTube. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, and if you feel like you would get some value, please go do that. And watch some of these videos. You know, this talks about the Solana ETFs. This is what's needed for altcoins to make a big move. This is a crypto that, I explain why Litecoin can do what I think it's going to do. Feel free. Go through some of the videos. All my videos on YouTube are obviously for free. And we do have the chat turned on where if you want to help the channel, feel free with these super stickers. But you guys have a great rest of your day. The last thing I'll leave you with here today, this is more just friend to friend, right? Friend to friend. And I know maybe you don't want to hear this, so you can leave if you don't want, but that's okay. But all of this stuff is temporary. That's number one. That's the spiritual side of the message. And number two is please don't go chasing numbers or chasing what you could buy with your profits or chasing a certain number. Hey, I'm not going to sell anything until I have 100,000 in my portfolio. I made that mistake heavily in 2017. When it hits this portfolio evaluation, then I'll exit everything and then I'm just going to buy something, a fat watch or a fat house. And, you start chasing what you could buy with the money and it's literally, it leads to destruction. It literally leads to you making really bad decisions. Okay. So that's my tip for you. Hope you have a great